Hey everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you a update video and bug fixes for the Miss Reloaded. Now, some of these issues this is usually the most common issue I have, and well, this is the fix for it because I've tried to make sure everything was fixed before I put the video out. But yeah, so this is a fix for the biggest issue we have, plus a few quality of life upgrades, not necessarily needed, but does help out a little bit more. So, first off, the biggest issue we have, and I'm going to explain exactly what it is there. I have gotten reports that the minecart right here sits right here and doesn't do anything. I understand exactly what happened and why it's doing that, or that you're getting an extra water bottle in chest 1 or something. And that's also happens to be the same problem. So what we're going to do is, with the minecart, once it sits, we're going to look at it, look inside the minecart right here, while it's right here, and look and see. If it looks like this with one item there, okay, that just means it didn't launch, and it's the same fix. But odds are you're going to have the water bottle right there, and we don't want it there. We want it to look like this. So the issue is, if we come around here, is in this chest and this dropper. What I mean is, if we look at this, and then if you look in the dropper, there's our minecart. Here's the dropper. This is our loading line. This is our line. So these are the lower filter items. If you look inside the dropper here, you will notice that you have the filter item for the lower filter. And then if you look in the chest, it's not going to be there. Well, to fix it, just throw another one in. Yep, it's that easy. And that is the entire fix for that. Now, this one is more for me. I got tired of the torch flashing on and off, on and off, on and off. So I decided to instead just put a repeater, dust, and power it next to a chest. And I couldn't put a chest there, so it gets stuck like that. It works. It's good. It's fine. Alignments, everything's okay. It works fine. Now, this one is from my personal experiences. I don't know how many of you guys have had this, but occasionally I've noticed the shulker here missing. Well, that's because non-shulker boxes are filtering into the system. To fix that, all we have to do is just place a block here, a transparent block, with the dust on it next to the hopper. And that fixes that. It greatly reduces it so much that it's kind of scary. But yeah. And that's usually it with the bug fixes. And I just decided to eliminate some of this by sending that there instead of reading it off of here. It's reading off of these. So it's reading off of this hopper. So if this hopper gets full, it will lock the entire system. So next we have some quality of life things. Now this is not necessary. I just rotated the chest 90 degrees, put a hopper into the other chest, and a comparator reading this top chest. Here's the chest for items that are getting pulled out. Here's one that's not. It will work. It says if this chest gets a signal strength of 2, it's going to turn off and lock the system, which means this has to be full and this has to be full before it happens. Not necessary. You can leave it and it'll work just the same. And then something Cass did point out, but it's not necessary, but it does work. It works for appearance. Just throw a block there and dust block. Bam. It'll create a clock, but one item goes in, it's fine. It won't. You probably don't even need these. You could just use that. Now the last two, and this one I'm just going to explain, and then the last one we're actually going to do a block by block tutorial for, because I have a lot to explain for it. Is we eliminated all but one detector rail. Yep. I could probably even set it up where we don't even need the detector rail, but it can get a little confusing. So we'll just use the detector rail. I removed from under here, I removed all my comparators and blocks, and then just replaced them with target blocks. All the way down. The last target block gets a torch, and then dust weasel it way next to the rails, all the way to another target block with a torch on it, and then it repeats over and over. And you can also line it up one way, where they come up one way and go that way. That's fine. I did that just so everybody can see it, and there's not much change, just where you put your shortcut circuit itself. Now the last one is the big one. First off, I recommend having a lot more comparators. We have a comparator here, which only this one, let's see here, it's only this one, and this one do not get red. Those three are the only ones that will never be red. So we have to take that into account. And that's the same thing over on this side. Making minor adjustments like this is fine. But I have two sets of dust just to make sure that these will get powered. But we're using this old system, and do I have it over here? On the old system? The new. This was the test version, which is actually going to be, it gets condensed. It gets a lot more condensed, but it is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be building this section, and we have a special set. And like I said, this was testing. So, what do you say, guys? Let's get to building the upgrades. All right, guys, we're back. So, first off, let's take a look at what we need to do the upgrades. Now you can now some of the stuff you will be able to recycle and use it for it, but specifically just for the upgrade, we're going to need a dropper, a hopper, 2 powered rails, 2 comparators, 7 observers, 4 repeaters, 1 string, 1 jukebox, very important, 1 redstone lamp, 5 random items, 2 regular rails, 4 dust, 7 bring a bunch of blocks to build with, and 2 torches. And we will pull everything out, bust the box. And now, first thing we got to do is disassemble our rail system. Now, I'm not going to take everything apart that doesn't need to be taken apart. That one goes there. All right. And then come over here. We'll break this rail, that rail. Okay, so now we got a nice blank slate, and we'll take that one out too. So what we're going to do first is grab a comparator, put it there. Then we'll place a regular rail and a powered rail. We can move this rail over here and get rid of this torch to be able to keep them all powered. Place a solid block on top of that and a torch, and let's put that to subtract mode. Now this is going to be on all the time, which is fine. We're going to control that. So now we need to take a dust there and a dust there. Now we can't use this dust the way that Java can, because we can't change its form. But we can prevent it from going into this block. So it's only powering this bottom. So take your jukebox and throw it on the side. And yes, it has. I've tried other blocks. Jukebox is the only one that works properly for some odd reason. So now we're going to take a redstone lamp, place it there, grab an observer, place it there, grab a repeater, comparator, place it on top of the observer. Let me open this up, and we will grab our repeaters, throw one there, and that will turn off while the system is processing. And there's a very specific way for it to process. Now, we need to grab a dropper. And then off of this dust, one black gap, you're just getting read by this observer, an observer powering this dropper. Off of this dust, we need to place an observer on this observer going up, and then another one over. A lot of observers are just getting detected in one spot. Throw your 5 random items in here. You can increase it if you want. And a hopper. Grab a solid block, throw it on top of there. Grab a dust, throw it on top of the observer, which will lock the hopper. And there we go. Now this part is set up. Now what happens is the minecart will always come in and bounce off and keep going. We need to slow, and that's because it's coming in high. It's coming in fast. We need to stop that. So take and place an extra block here. Now place a rail here and a regular rail here. If it snaps this way, you're good. If it does not and happens to stay like this when you place the rail there, what we need to do is break that rail, take a regular rail, place it there, temporary block, rail, we can and then afterwards place your rail back, break, and then we're good there. Place a solid block behind it, a 2-tick repeater powering the block, a solid block behind that with a dust, a solid block powering the dust, an observer detecting a string in front of it. So if I take and throw in a few items like 2 and 17, it's going to want to launch them. It's going to launch them. And then it's just going to process, come in, sit for a moment, launch, come in pretty slow. And it will hold it till it's until it's gone. In fact, it will come on here once it starts unloading. And this one doesn't have anything in it. The iron blocks aren't part of any of the system, so they're going to go to our overflow, which overflow you just add control. And that's it. It comes around, and then we're going to come down here, actually to the minecart. Let me get in a spot where I'm not going to stop it from moving. And we can just watch it unload. Now it's completely unloaded. Well, it's still turned off. So, if anything small comes in, like a single piece of string, that will cause a little bit of an issue. Well, it could. But with this setup, it's designed to hold it just long enough for it to be able to process. Now it's going to launch and put the string, the single piece of string, inside of the overflow. If I had it programmed to go where I had it programmed. Here it is, coming in. And again, we'll look inside of it, wait till it's empty, and then watch it finish. It's empty, and as you can see, it's still pulsing. And the minecart's still there. This is just a single item. And that's and that's because we are maintaining having a high quantity count in here with a single item so that it will be able to process just long enough to be able to say, okay, there we go. And then the minecart goes back into its starting position like always, and there we go. And that's the bug fixes and the updates. Now, probably the biggest update is this control circuitry because it cuts down the wait time by quite a bit. And if you ask me, waiting around longer is I don't like waiting around. I spend hours gathering resources and then throwing them in and having to wait 4 times as long just to unload it because of that old circuitry. But the old circuitry works and worked reliably, but I figured out how to get this reliable. So that's the whole point. But you want to know what, you guys? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section. If it's a major issue, I recommend joining my Discord. If you want to support me, a link to that will be in the description. But if you want to support me, you can subscribe. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.